Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Cambria with her movie, Why Dig When You Can Pluck. Let's take a look at the clip.
Baby, can you do my back? Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Cambria, welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family, and thank you for coming all the way from Portland, Oregon to be with us as well. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I'm so happy that you brought your film to us. It's always so nice when you see a film that you feel like you've never seen a film like this before, and I've just got so many great questions great questions because you made a great film to ask. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Oh gosh. Well, Why Dig When You Can Pluck is the story of a woman who is a mother and a filmmaker, and she brings her husband and her son on a camping trip to the Oregon coast. And she has these competing desires to be both a good mother as well as a creative artist. And when those two desires come to a head, when they come into conflict, she has a necessary but rather devastating breakthrough experience.
Yeah. Goodness me, and there really is breakthrough experiences in this film. What was that kind of moment for you when you were beginning to think about this idea? When did it kind of struck you to turn this idea into a film?
I was looking for a story. I knew that I wanted to make my first narrative film about a mother character and her kind of small family unit. And so I took my own family on a road trip in the early stages of the pandemic, kind of like looking for an outdoor location in the state of Oregon that I thought would inspire something.
Yeah.
And for the second half of that road trip, we ended up camping on the Oregon coast, which is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful, by the way. It was such a beautiful location.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stunning place.
Yeah.
And both kind of like looking for something to happen, but also simultaneously on vacation with my family. And in the course of that trip, literally, it was my husband who said the words to me out loud, why dig when you can pluck, in a very particular context. And in that moment, I was just like, man, who says that? And also what a great phrase. And it just those words just kind of, I just started thinking about them and all of the different things that they could mean.
Yeah.
And, I wrote them down and I started writing things down kind of almost as they were unfolding on the trip.
Yeah.
But there was this kind of spark of like, oh, I'm looking for something very dramatic to happen while I'm here on the beach, kind of externally. But meanwhile, the most dramatic things that are happening are what's happening right before my eyes within my own small family unit.
Yeah.
There was like a real tension that I was experiencing kind of in the moment of, what is my role as a parent in this moment where I'm on vacation with my family and as a partner, and what is sort of my job as an artist, as a filmmaker, to be putting together a story and to be kind of looking for inspiration.
Yeah.
And I found myself in conflict with my own competing desires, and wanting to kind of like be all things at all time, wanting to occupy multiple roles at the same time, and kind of like experiencing the impossibility of that in the moment. And I realized that was kind of really at a certain point in the writing process, I realized that was really the nugget of the tension within the story, is the expectations that we place on mothers, and the expectations that I was placing on myself, and where I was kind of getting those ideas from. And so as I started, we went home, things happened. And then as I developed the story, I really tried to lean into that, into those ideas.
Just want to add into just something that I just think was so nice, is that you kind of left us like in these moments that were so still and so present. I almost felt like it was like we were there with you. Well, we're there with the character of the mom and her mind and everything that was going through, from being a creative to being a mom to being on vacation to being a wife to being in this family, all the dynamics coming together. And it was so nice to see it from her perspective, because there was just so much going on inside of there that there wasn't always necessarily words, but you could feel it. You could feel the presence of emulating maybe what she might have been going through or experiencing, and just how tough that was in these intricate moments on a vacation with her family. And it was so beautiful to see there on the big screen, like magical. And I'm just curious, like, what did you want to, when you had a brilliant cast, by the way, brilliant cast, and I felt like the way you were talking, they really told the story just as you were speaking perfectly. What was it like kind of telling your cast to be part of a film like this? Because it wasn't, as you kind of mentioned, it's a 50-minute feature film. It's a certain dynamic. You left us in this experience, in these moments. Like, how did you work with your actors in kind of creating this effect that you wanted to get from the film?
I looked very carefully, in particular for the role of Spring, and when I found Sol Marina Crespo to play the role, I mean, she just blew me away in her audition. And she has this face that just can do so much, but she also knows kind of when to dial it back. And we played with that during the process of filming. I had these very in-depth character descriptions that the actors were given. And I know in particular for the role of Spring that Sol actually said to me that the character was a little bit of a mystery to her. Which she said that to me after we were done filming. Wow. And I thought that was really fascinating.
Yeah.
But what was so fun was to just let her inhabit the character while we were filming. And I think that she brought, everything that's on the page, you definitely are seeing. And the way that I worked with the actors is we really wanted to hit each and every beat that's there on the page. And a lot of those beats are not happening through dialogue necessarily.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun to kind of like a lot of the beats are moments that are happening where either one character sees something happening across the beach or something about one of the other characters, or the way that these characters are interacting with each other and their dynamics. So we focused a lot on that. But then also, each actor really, I think, brought quite a bit of themselves to the role. And I was really interested in that because it just brought this like additional layer of humanity to each of the, to each of the roles.
Yeah, and you really gave us so much with these characters. And I think part of that was, from what you said, like allowing them to have this kind of freedom to, kind of explore naturally what they were going through in those particular moments. It was really wonderful to see. I love the way that you set the scene of this film. You know, it was just so, it was very picturesque, but it was also very personal. I felt like I was out there with them, you know, in the car, you know, out there on the beach. Like, I felt like I was there. How did you kind of know how you wanted it to look and feel? Obviously, you didn't know to look at it, but was there a certain style you were looking for?
Yeah, I worked very closely with our DP, Ben Bach, and we talked a lot about how we wanted to frame, in particular, the characters. We're working with a 4:3 aspect ratio, which I really wanted to use because it really is so compressed and tight. And so we wanted to think about how each of these characters might feel kind of like trapped in the frame and trapped in their world. And so we really tried to use the frame to accentuate that, and also how they were potentially like feeling lonely, or isolated from each other, or or maybe from the rest of the space. And another thing that's really wonderful about the 4:3 aspect ratio is I feel like characters just look really beautiful in portrait, and I wanted to see those portraits without having each and every shot be a portrait. I just really wanted to like spend some time looking at these characters' faces, at the actors' faces. And then in terms of like the landscape, I'm really interested in the idea of this idea that our surroundings really kind of like influence how we behave and how we feel as humans who are both of the earth, but also we're different, we're separate. And so I wanted to, really like nest the characters in this space. At the same time, I didn't want to sort of like glorify the landscape in this way that I think, sometimes B-roll can be kind of like either like cliche or bland or distracting. And I really wanted to feature this this environment as part of these characters.
Yeah. Oh my, you definitely encapsulated that for sure. So I think like, you gave us this kind of, this moment and perspective of this family on vacation, and just from the perspective of what she was going through, and all the different dynamics. And, I was kind of like really enjoying where we was left in the spaces where you left us, but also uncomfortable because I was feeling for her so much, and just the whole family dynamic as well, and what that looks like. When you made this film, because, you kind of even said in your statement as well about this is not the conventional, 50, 90-minute feature film as well, but it was like perfectly enough, you know what I mean, in what you gave us. What did you want your audience to experience and take from your film after knowing what you wanted to put into it? What did you want your audience to kind of take in from your film?
Yeah, I think I wanted to challenge the audience to love this character that they might have really strong opinions about. I think that by making folks feel uncomfortable and kind of like testing an audience's limits of what they're comfortable seeing unfold, it can really cause a viewer to kind of like question within themselves what it is that's making them uncomfortable. And maybe be able to think about what they're seeing in a new way. I think that making someone uncomfortable can really be a tool in that way.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I think I wanted to do that. I wanted to, ask folks to see like, where do they enter into this story? Like, where can each person see themselves in this story, and how might they have acted differently? But in particular for mothers, how might, and fathers as well, like how might they have acted similarly maybe in the past, in a way where sometimes when you see a character that resonates with you on screen, even if it's something you've never like spoken about yourself, it can be such a relief.
Yeah.
Because you say, oh, I'm not alone in having felt that feeling. I'm not alone in having had that desire or wanted to do that. And when you know that you're not the only one to feel a certain way,
Yeah, 100%.
It's just such a wonderful feeling to know that you're not alone. And I think that a lot of like negativity around how we feel about ourselves can be released in that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And lastly, what is next? What is next for you, Cambria?
Yeah, I've just finished my first quarter at UC Riverside's low residency MFA program in screenwriting. And I'm very, very excited for the next 2 years that I'll be there.
Yeah.
Where I'll be generating, hopefully a handful of feature-length scripts and material that I can write and direct in the future. I'm really excited to develop my writing craft in particular.
Amazing.
The first one that I'm starting to write is actually a Western.
I love it.
And hoping to bring some of the sensibilities from Why Dig When You Can Pluck to this totally different genre.
Amazing.
And hopefully discomfort and disrupt some more.
No, I love it. Just keep causing discomfort and disrupt through your moving image. I love it, honestly. But I think it's great because it's also whether you're empathetic, educational to it, whatever tool it is that you're giving us, it's a great experience to see on screen. So thank you so much for bringing your film to us. I even love the way that your husband brought the title to the project. It's like, that was it, and then boom, a film. I love it. So well done. Thank you for bringing this film to us, and thank you for helping Filmmakers LA.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much. It's been so fun this week.
Thank you, Cambria, everybody.